Distinguished delegates, good afternoon. We shall now proceed with Agenda Item 8, adoption of the report of the committee on its 8th session. Before we do so, I would like to call the Secretariat to make announcements.
Thank you, Chair. As mandated by the Commission, the Secretariat provides delegations with the opportunity to assess the results and quality of the session through a feedback questionnaire. In this connection, we would like to request each participant to complete a brief online survey, which will be sent to you via email today. Your feedback will help improve the quality of our services and the support to the delegations. So thank you for taking the time to complete the survey and return it to the Secretariat.
Okay, thank you, Secretariat. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, a report for the meeting has been prepared to capture the organizational aspects of the meeting and a summary of recommendations and decisions. It consists of two parts as follows. Part 1, matters calling for action by the Commission or brought to its attention. And Part 2, organization. I would like to note that the account of proceedings will be prepared after the meeting and circulated for factual corrections within a week of the conclusion of the meeting. This will be annexed to the report. May I now propose that we review and adopt the draft report, section by section. I would like to inform delegates that language editing of the report will be undertaken by the Secretariat following the adoption of the report. In view of this, distinguished delegates are requested to focus on the substance of the report and to leave the editorial work of correcting any grammatical or typographical error to the Secretariat. I also wish to request delegates wishing to make minor changes to the text to read them out at dictation speed. With respect to major changes, delegates are requested to provide written text to the Secretariat so that they may enter it on the screen for consideration by all delegations. The floor will be open for comments if any corrections become necessary. May I now proceed with the reading of the report section by section? Are there any comments on section 1A, matters calling for action? As I see none.
We can give them a little bit of
Okay.
time. Just give them,
To the floor.
because 1A has many recommendations.
Okay.
So page 1,
Okay.
they can just give them a little bit of
Okay.
time.
Okay. 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 So now we're on 1A delegates right now, 1A. Okay, as I see none, let us move to section 1B, matters brought to the attention of the Commission. Are there any comments on this? Are there further comments on this 1B? As I see none, let us move to section 2, organization. Part A, opening duration and organization of the session. Yep. Any comments on this part? As I see none, let us move to part B of section 2, attendance. Okay, I noticed the delegation of Japan. You have the floor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering, are we going by paragraph, or are you going by section?
Are we going by section? So if you have anything during in that section, please let us know which paragraph you are direct your attention to.
So clarification, I have clarifying language on recommendation 2. Instead of step up efforts in, facilitate cooperation and policy dialogues on transformative adaptation, which I think is clearer.
Oh, now you're going back to section 1, part A?
Yes, because
Yes?
I thought we were going by paragraph by
Ah, okay,
paragraph.
okay. All right, so we go back to part
yes.
A, recommendation 2.
Recommendation 2,
Yeah?
and I also have on recommendation 3 another clarifying language.
Okay, if you can read them slowly for us, that would be great. Thank you.
The recommendation 3 or 2?
Two first. Two first.
2
Yes.
was instead of step up efforts in, facilitate cooperation and policy dialogues on transformative adaptation, which is in line with ESCAP TOR. Recommendation 3, or should I go by one, or should I give
Okay,
you
3 is fine. Yeah,
okay,
you can do
recommendation 3 on the part on health, instead of promote, taking into account the role of health sector, taking into account the role of the health sector, and delete critical. The reason being there is that we're not the WHO, and we probably should sort of stick to more conventional language. Thank you.
Delegates may ask if there are any comments on the proposal made by Japan on these 2 recommendations. Okay. Thank you. As I see none. Oh, Iran? Okay, Iran, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you for the new wording we have in this recommendation offered by a delegate of Japan. But we think that we should keep the critical here because it refers to the role of health sector. So we want to keep the word of critical. Thank you.
Delegates, any other comments on this? I understand that Iran want to keep the critical on this one. Okay, any more comments? If none, then this paragraph will be adopted as amended by Japan and Iran. Okay, so it's decided. Okay. All right, let's move to the next part. So we've done part B in section 1, right? No comments on this one, I take. That's done. All right. Part B, no comments. Okay. Japan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just in terms of decision 1, we'd like to sort of simplify where does this say decision 1? Oh, sorry, it's decision 2. So requests the Secretariat too after that to deepen its analytical research and capacity development, taking into account the findings of the report. So instead of, delete, implement those recommendations by, to deepen its analytical research, taking into account. No, taking into account is at the end of the sentence. Comma, taking into account. No, yeah. Development, comma, taking into account the findings of the report. So I'm just basically changing the placement of the findings of the report. And decision 3, instead of increase the provisions of, facilitate building of national capacities. And I think we can leverage all innovations. So leveraging innovations, including digital, I think might be more reflective of the discussions that we've had this week.
Okay, Japan? Does that reflect what you want? Okay. How about other delegates? Do you have any comments on Japanese proposals? No? No comments? Okay. As I see none, I declare the Part B of Section 1 adopted as amended by Japan's proposals. Okay, let's move to Section 2, Organization, Part A. Any comments on this, class? Any comments? Yeah. The opening duration, organization. Very factual. Okay, I see none. Let's move to okay, the next part. Part B, attendance. Any comments on this? Okay, if I see no comments, I declare this section adopted. And let's move to Part C, election of officers. Any comments? Okay, there's no comment. This paragraph's adopted. Okay, next is Part D, agenda. Okay, no comments on this one. Part D's agenda is adopted. And let's move to next part is Part E, other events. Okay. Any comments on this part? Just details of side events. Okay, I see none. So Part E, Section 2 is adopted. And now let's move to Section 3, the counter proceedings. Any comments, delegates? Okay, as I see none, Section 3 is adopted. Okay, so Excellencies, distinguished delegates, we have now reviewed all the sections of the report. I wish to propose that the draft report be adopted, with editorial changes to be taken care of by the Secretariat. Are we all in agreement point? Okay. Excellency, distinguished delegates, as I do not see any views to the contrary, I wish to declare this draft adopted by consensus. Okay. All right. Yay. Okay, before we move to the closing segment of this section, would any delegates like to take the floor? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Don't see anyone. We will now proceed to the closing of the Committee on Disaster Risk Reduction. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, this brings us to the closing of the 8th session of the Committee on Disaster Risk Reduction. I would like to invite Ms. Tiziana Bonapace, Director of ICT and DRR Division, ESCAP, to deliver closing remarks. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, at this final closing session, I would like to congratulate all delegations on the adoption of the report. It has been, I think, 3 days of intensive discussions that have covered a wide spectrum of issues. That point to the intensifying and dynamically evolving risk scenarios in the region. And against this complexity of intensifying and dynamic disaster risk, I think 2 concluding points are clear. One is that the region needs to seize the moment and focus on investing in transformative adaptation that protects lives, livelihoods, food, energy, and other critical systems if we are to accelerate implementation of the SDGs. Second is that early warning systems for all are a key element that can help operationalize transformative adaptation. And the Secretary General's Executive Action Plan on Early Warning for All by 2027 is an opportunity for the region and the countries to scale up cooperation given the multitudes of transboundary hazards that are on the increase. So how do we move forward from here? And here I think the committee has given important guidance to the Secretariat in the form of a number of recommendations calling for action by the Commission and a number of decisions. These have been adopted a few minutes ago by consensus and through a very constructive spirit of collaboration among all delegates. So I would like to conclude by once again thanking all delegates and representatives on behalf of ESCAP for your active participation and your constructive interventions in the 8th session of the Committee on Disaster Risk Reduction. The discussions once again have led to clear and actionable guidance to the Secretariat in its future delivery of work and in how to strengthen regional cooperation for disaster risk reduction and resilience building. So we are really very appreciative for this, and I can assure you of our commitment and our best efforts in serving our members and associate members and achieving our common objectives. And I would also like to express special thanks and appreciation to our chairperson, Her Excellency Marie-Lou Ernie, Chief of Staff and Supervising Undersecretary for Strategic Communications of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources of the Philippines, our Vice Chairperson, Mr. Puchpop Mongkol Navin, the Deputy Director General and Deputy Permanent Representative from Thailand to ESCAP, and our second Vice Chairperson, His Excellency Saeed Reza Nobakti, the Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Thailand and Permanent Representative to ESCAP, for the leadership and for the guidance which has greatly contributed to the success of this committee. And finally, in closing, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the conference service staff and the editors and the translators who have been working very hard behind the scenes to ensure that everything is running smoothly and seamlessly. We are still in hybrid mode. We're still conducting the committee deliberations online and in person, and there's a lot, that has to be put in place before these online and in-person conversations can take place seamlessly. So special thanks to the staff. And then, of course, to the staff in my division and to the UPDIM colleagues and to the staff in the supporting divisions of ESCAP. It's always a complex task to organize a committee, and there is also a lot of background preparations that have to be made, a lot of different pieces of the ESCAP Secretariat that need to come together and that need to be in place before we have a successful committee. So my special thanks to the staff of my division and all the supporting divisions of the Secretariat. It has been a pleasure to work with you all, and I wish you a very good rest of the afternoon. We have the good fortune of having finished quite early, and so I'm hoping that those of you who are still here and who have traveled from abroad will also have the opportunity to enjoy Bangkok and enjoy all the good things that Bangkok has to offer before you go back home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tiziana, for your very kind words and for your hard work during the session. Before I declare the meeting closed, I would like to reiterate my sincere appreciation for the honor extended to me. I would like to thank all of you, whether you participate in person or online, for the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that made this session a success. My special thanks also go to the other members of the Bureau for their support and contributions. I wish to commend the Secretariat for the successful organization of the 8th session of the Committee on Disaster Risk Reduction and the staff members of the ICT and Disaster Risk Reduction Division for their hard work and thorough preparations necessary for the convening this session. With this, I declare the 8th session of the Committee on Disaster Risk Reduction closed. And thank you very much, and I hope you do enjoy the long holiday in Bangkok and in Thailand. And for those who have to make your onward journeys back home, have a safe flight. Thank you very much. The meeting is closed.